I can't find the words to explain to you how good these pro gamers are.
He's actually stimming his units as he leaves the base. He's trying to get so many other players' face that there's not even time for the Bailings to finish.
Naniwa's got his army split up. He's got one attack on the right-hand side. Another chasing down the army. Storm's come down.
These are the best of the best in esports history.
And Hux starting to blink forward as the Zealots are removed. The supply goes in Hux's favor.
So much energy. Where did that energy come from? Tanks desperately trying to target fire down Queens.
The Archon's moving forward. A lot is going down here, and only Colossus left over.
He's starting to get some feedbacks down. He's starting to advance forward. Another vortex.
There's the blink forward, trying to get underneath those Brood Lords. Oh, he sends the vortex.
Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, hello from the MLG studios here in New York City, and welcome back to Winter Season Showdowns. My name is axeltoss. I am joined by axslav, and this is day 2 of a series of amazing Heart of the Swarm matches between the best players in the world, 56 of them, all trying to qualify for the Winter Championship event in Dallas, Texas on March 15th. We had an amazing day yesterday, amazing start to the season, and I feel like it's only going to get better. Of course, let's talk a little bit more about this format that we're talking about. Again, 56 players are involved in these online tournaments. 56 players invited, divided by region, 28 1v1 matches, all best of 5 games. And again, the winner of each best of 5 gets a qualification spot in Dallas. There's going to be a lot of good players in Dallas.
There are. I mean, we already know 5 of them now.
Yes.
4 from the top 4 from the fall championships in last 2012 Dallas tournament.
Yep.
And of course, the winner of yesterday's match.
Of course, we're not going to necessarily say the winner because we don't want to spoil anyone just yet, because the VODs are available right now in 1080p high definition, youtube.com/official MLGSC2. That being said, we're about to show a card that does reveal the match from yesterday, so please direct your eyes away from the screen if you do not want to be spoiled. All right, and here we are. These are the matches we got going on this week. Lots of good ones there, Nick.
They are.
Is that an understatement?
I think it is.
Yeah.
So we've got, how many people? We've got like, all these guys are Pro League starters or mostly starters for the Pro League teams.
Even ace players.
Even ace players, yes, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 ace players out of 10.
Yeah.
So basically the best of the Pro League guys. I mean, actually, we might have the ace of every single team here, just missing 1 or 2.
Well, one of them's already qualified in Flash.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, we basically have all the aces, and then counting out EGTL as well.
Of course.
Because they're not playing in this specific group.
In this first week.
Exactly.
They'll be up ahead. They'll be up ahead.
In other weeks. So, I think we do have pretty much every single ace here covered. Innovation from SDX, a great player. He's going to play tomorrow. I'm really excited for that. TY, probably teammates' strongest player, one of their top 2 or 3, I would say.
Yeah.
Really excited for that TVT matchup. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Today, though, Roro versus Hero.
Yes.
And Roro has been absolutely dominating in the Pro League. I mean, this guy is I think he's 4-0 so far, if not 5-0.
He's dominating.
I mean, he just doesn't lose. He's like, you know what? Losing. I tried that before in the past a couple times. It wasn't that fun.
Hey, he's like, I'm not doing that anymore. And I think there was like a running joke with fantasy. People were putting Roro on his anti-team, and then he was destroying everyone's anti-team because he kept winning. But Roro is going to be playing against Hero today. That's going to be an amazing best of 5. It's coming up momentarily. That being said, get on Team Liquid, get on Reddit, tell your friends, get on AOL Instant Messenger, message your buddies that you haven't talked to in 5 years, and tell them to watch StarCraft 2 right now at majorleaguegaming.com, because this best of 5 is going to be epic. And again, every single day, 5 p.m. Eastern. If you miss it live on stream, the VODs will be available. I think they rebroadcast throughout the day, and they're available pretty much an hour or 2 after the live broadcast on youtube.com/official MLGSC2. Again, all of this is free. All of this is in 1080p HD if your computer can handle it. And it's all amazing content. In my personal opinion, the best players in the world playing Heart of the Swarm, a game that we're still kind of figuring out.
We are. There's a lot of new stuff here. We saw a lot of some interesting new builds that from yesterday's match is that even though we've been casting all these Pro King the Hills, we cast some Pro Show matches, it's like every time we see a game, there's a 50% chance it's something we've never seen before. Just because there's so many, you have X number of units and Y number of different timings available in the game, and then Z different, this, and all of a sudden the number of commutations and permutations of strategies.
It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
Now, Roro versus Hero today, they're both very active on Pro League. As we said, they're both played a lot for their team, so it should be interesting to see what kind of strategies they end up utilizing. We're about to get into Game 1 right now. Roro versus Hero, two of the best players in the world in their respective races, of course. This is going to be absolutely epic. Again, tell your friends, get on Reddit, get on Team Liquid, tell everyone this is going on. We got to pack people in here. I want everyone standing. I don't want an empty seat because this is going to be epic. Best of 5 to determine who goes to MLG Dallas, the Winter Championships, on March 15th. In the top left-hand location, we have the Red Zerg player from Samsung Khan. He is Roro. He's been destroying in Pro League lately. So many impressive results. Recently defeated Flash in an ace match, if I remember correctly.
He did.
And of course, his opponent in the bottom right-hand location, the blue Protoss player Hero, not to be confused with Liquid Hero. This guy is his own person. He's from CJ Entis, and people might mostly remember him for the shenanigans that went on when he played Stefano.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Those are quite some shenanigans.
So what happened was Stefano typed something, and he wasn't supposed to, and then it was against Hero, and then Hero typed something too. There were a lot of smiles between both players, but CJ Hero, he seems like a swell guy. I think he's a guy I'd like to meet, and perhaps I'll have that chance if he ends up winning this best of 5. But going up against Roro, it might be a tall task indeed.
Look at this early pull coming down from Roro. Double extractor trick to get all his drones possible out before he starts the Overlord. Heroes has scouted this though, so he's going to be ready to get the Forge before the Nexus. Great, heads up play by Hero using that Probe Scout. Not going for a Nexus first when he sees that spawning pool coming down early.
Now, for those who don't necessarily play a lot of StarCraft 2, or maybe you haven't seen this map before, it is relatively new. It was implemented into Heart of the Storm and then recently added into Wings of Liberty. The map is Akalon Wastes, and it's now very commonly played. And we have a very expansive map pool, and neither player decided to veto this map. So it's going to be played first, and we'll have to see what kind of strategies end up developing here. We already have Lings marching across the field here for Roro, but it looks like Hero should have a nice wall off up before those Lings get there.
He does, but one great reason why Roro picked this strategy for this map is because the ramp is significantly is big, right?
Yes.
And so Hero had to construct an extra pylon, an extra gateway, all these buildings he had to start before he could start his Nexus because he needs to make sure those Zergians cannot run by that frontal wall. Of course, Roro, with his Overlord, saw the wall being constructed, so he goes around the back way and starts chipping at the rocks. And now, in about another minute or two, once these rocks go down, Hero's going to have to worry about threats from another angle as well. His problems going to be compounded, and all this for a relatively minor cost on Roro's part.
Yeah, he got a little bit of an earlier pool, sacrificed maybe 1 or 2 drones, but got a really fast queen. Now he's going to knock on those rocks a little bit, but then just backing away. Has map control at this point in time. No probe is going to be able to scout across the map unless he's very lucky or very stealthy, and it looks like this probe is exactly that, as it is going to march looking for a third base from Roro. Not seeing it just yet. Might try to poke up into the main and check on the gas timing.
Definitely always want to know the gas time when you're playing Protoss versus Zerg. That's what tells you when the threats can happen, because of course your regular slow Zergings can't do too much damage to you early on as long as you have a well-constructed wall. But as soon as they get speed Zerglings, Banelings, Roaches, Laratech units, that's when you really have to be, wary of different threats they can throw at you. So knowing when those threats can come at you is very essential to knowing how much you can invest into economy and teching up versus how much defense you need to construct.
Now the rocks are actually getting pretty low in health here, and Hero hasn't necessarily identified this. He has a Zealot on the way, so that's going to bring him to 2, but 2 Zealots in his natural expansion won't stop the Lynx from running by into his main base. Meanwhile, Hero checking on the gas timing, he sees it, gets his probe inside his opponent's main base. Roro trying to track that probe down, but he might even get away alive unless, no, there is a queen at the ramp, so that probe should end up falling, but these Lynx are about to make their way inside the natural expansion here.
And they're gonna try to get all the way into the main. The cannon takes on only a single Zerg and he scratches another. The Zealots are sitting there not really paying attention. They're actually crossing the map.
Yeah.
Trying to go in the attack.
Very indecisive, it looks like.
Man, you know, these probes really wish their big brother Zealots were back here at home right now because he's losing significant mining time here, not to mention the scouting value that Roro was getting.
Now Hero is just going to march across the map here with those 2 Zealots. This Pylon might end up getting taken out. A Stalker coming forward going to try to save that. That's not going to work. Pylon is going to go down here for Hero, but he does have 2 Zealots tracking across the map, trying to keep his probes alive, manages to keep that weakened one alive, and the Zealots, let's see how much damage they can do. I'm not sure they can do much, considering there's already Lings and 2 Queens here already.
Roro seems to have all his bases covered, not only controlling the attack very well, but no problem mopping up those 2 Zealots back on the defensive end.
0 workers killed there for Roro, so Hero able to defend admirably. However, he did lose that Pylon, which is relatively significant. He is supply blocked right now, but a Pylon is about to finish. So resources lost shows 325 to 237 in favor of the Red Zerg player Roro, but just like that, it changes. And Hero gonna even that up a little bit more. And at this point in the game, nothing too crazy happening. However, Roro staying on 2 bases, has all 4 of his gases, already has his layer down. What kind of tech are we gonna see from him?
Oh, I would think it probably is gonna be Stormhost or Mutalisk. It is gonna be Mutalisk. I mean, these are units, you know, of all the pro matches we've seen so far in Heart of the Swarm. You know, I actually have to say, it's fairly rare to see the Zerg player lose once they get Mutalisk out.
Mutalisks are pretty good in Heart of the Swarm. We actually casted a best of 7 between was it Gosu User and Baby Knight, where they each played off race, and Baby Knight was able to show the power of the Mutalisk in Game 1 on this very map. And look at this, Roro also adding on that Infestation Pit. So after seeing the Phoenixes, he might just get Corruptors and focus more on the Infestor transition.
It could even be Swarmhost.
That's
I've
true.
actually been watching a lot of LZ Gamers play. He's been playing a lot of Heart of the Swarm with Zerg, and he loves to use Mutalisk combined with Swarmhost. The Mutalisk can snipe the Colossi and the Observers, which makes the Swarmhost very, very, very powerful at doing continual damage throughout the game.
All right, Phoenix is making their way to the left-hand side of the map. Only 2 here, which can get some damage done to drones. I don't expect these to kill any Queens. Might try to track down some stray Overlords. There's one right here, but Queens might come forward to help reinforce. And here we're going to start getting some damage done. 3rd Phoenix joining in on the fun. We have Burrow in production here tomorrow. Pathogen Glands, I should say, and +1 melee attacks, as well as additional drones and hatcheries. 4 Overlords on the way, 3 Spore Crawlers. So Roro trying to deal with this attack, has only lost 1 Overlord so far, and you got to remember, these 4 Phoenixes represent a lot of investment for Hero. That means, you know, his tech to Colossi might be a little bit slower. That being said, the robotics phase is already done.
And I mean, the Phoenixes have already actually paid themselves off in a way. I mean, Roro tech so fast to lair to do this 2-base Mutas play.
And it just didn't do anything. He wasn't able to do it.
Exactly. As soon as he saw the Phoenix, he's like, you know what? With only 4 gas, I can't get enough Mutas to overpower those Phoenix. I've got to change my plan. And the investment of the Spire is, I mean, it'll pay off later in the game, but right now, he's not able to utilize that until he can deal with these Phoenixes. And his 3rd is fairly late for a Zerg.
Yeah, and of course the 5th and 6th gas for the Zerg is incredibly important, so you got to get that 3rd up as fast as possible. As the game goes along for Zerg, as we see a missed fumble there, gas becomes so much more important to build those Broodlords, those Infestors, those Swarmhosts, those Vipers. You got to have a lot of gas. So Roro immediately making those extractors at that 3rd base. Look out for him to saturate those very quickly. Meanwhile, Hero already beginning that transition into Colossi. Has 1 on the field, 1 more in production. And it looks like he's going to set up to take a 3rd here. He might try to do a little bit of pressure, considering he just warped in a bunch of Zealots and Sentries, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if that 3rd Nexus dropped down fairly soon. Oh, he has a lot of gateways, though.
Yeah,
he might just do
it's hard to tell. I mean, he has Thought Pro production as well, with only 16 workers on his minerals and his main and his natural. This is almost surely going to be 2-base timing. He has this War Prism to support his attack. That's coming back to rejoin his forces, and it's going to be a very scary timing. As we can see from the Zerg player, you know, he's been trying to basically rebuild from that Phoenix harass. Just Infestors right now are in his army. There's no Roaches on the field quite yet. The first one being produced right now.
I think he canceled the Spire, or he's building a second one. I think he definitely canceled the Spire from before, so he's rebuilding that. And how is he going to deal with this push? Hero's going to be warping in 8 gateway units at a time. He stopped Colossi production, only wanted 2. There goes a fungal there from Roro, trying to fend this attack off. Phoenix is coming forward, lifting off 2 of the Infestors, and I think Hero might just roll over Roro at this moment in time. I don't think Roro has sufficient defenses to deal with this. There's the force fields, there's the GG, and Hero takes game number 1 in this best of 5. Kind of a build order type win there, because the Stargate opening there from Hero, Roro opening up with the 2-base Muta, and of course once Roro saw the Phoenixes, he kind of had to abandon his plan to go for those Mutas. So that abandonment led Hero to think he had a timing, and he did, and he executed it well. 2 bases, 8 gateways, 2 Colossi, just destroyed Roro.
It really did. I mean, Roro, he got the Infestors out, and those can be so powerful, but they have their support units. They can't be
Gotta
your
have
entire
some
army.
beef in front of them.
Exactly, and I mean, a lot of it happened. I think he was planning to go Roach Infestor, which is actually pretty good against these small Protoss armies. But the problem was he lost so many drones in his main. The Phoenixes came and they cleared out so many drones that he had to spend all his time rebuilding drones, could never get that mineral income to get those roaches out in the field.
Yeah, Hero able to execute a very nice timing there. 2-base Colossus push. We'll have to see if Roro can turn this around. He's currently down 1-0 in this oh-so-important best of 5 to determine who gets an all-expenses-paid trip to the MLG Winter Championships in Dallas, Texas on March 15th. Guys, stay tuned. Game 2 coming up.